All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Monday. It is the 14th of December, and we are on session IC 19. Your I can statement today is I can recognize theme and situational irony in a short story. We'll be talking about the renowned short story author O. Henry and his connections to us right here in North Carolina. We will also be talking about sacrifice and some story elements. And we will be looking at a story called The Gift of the Magi. Also, if you have not finished that already, well, same old song, get it done. You have a learning farm assignment today, and you have a quiz for The Gift of the Magi. Um, it's only 15 questions, it's not difficult. So let's get started. Um, First of all, your learning farm assignment is on informational text, and the reason that I've done that is because that's where we will pick up when we come back from the break. So I just wanted to dip your toe into that pond a little bit. Please make sure you get it done. You're looking at basically main idea and also textual evidence. Those are two very important things that you need to know about as you look at informational text. Of course, you all know informational text is nonfiction. That's where we're headed next, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure you get the learning farm activity done. And by the way, most of you need to remember that you have been instructed to screenshot your final score with your name, the assignment name, and your score. That's what you turn in. Make sure that screenshot works before you turn it in. All right, so let's talk about O. Henry. Um, I have a quick POW tune for you to look at for O. Henry, but I want to tell you up front, he is actually from Greensboro, North Carolina, so he's a local boy. Um, didn't start out to be an author. He was in finance. He was in banking. And as many people do, he had a few slip ups, made a few mistakes, and sort of wound up in prison. So let's look at this quick pow tune about him, and maybe I can give you a little bit more information after that. All right. So, interesting life. Definitely an interesting life. Worked in banking and was convicted of embezzlement, which meant that he was stealing money from the bank itself. And he went to prison for, I believe it said 5 years. He was in there for less than three total because he was very well behaved in there, and he was released early for good behavior. But while he was in there wasn't a lot else to do, and he started writing, and he found he was good at it, and so he would sell his stories, and that's how he supported his daughter. And he didn't want people to associate his writing with being a felon, so he used what's called a pseudonym, a false name, otherwise known in the writing world as a pen name. And when he got out of prison, he moved to New York and became quite a successful author, to the point where the most coveted award in short story writing today is called the O. Henry Award. Um, Incredibly skilled at situational irony. Situational irony, simply said, is just the irony of the situation, and we'll get into that more deeply later. But he was the master of plot twists and turns and the unexpected, and that's why he was so successful. So, before we start today, I do want you to think about your life and the people in it. Think about your situation, if you will. And I want you to think about this. Think about what you would be willing to sacrifice. What would you give up in order to make someone else happy? What would you do to show someone that you really do appreciate them, that you love and respect them, and you are willing to make this sacrifice? What do you think that might be? Just think about it for a moment. And while you're thinking about it, I'm going to move on to the story elements we'll be looking at very quickly this week. And here's a really quick view of that. So, this elements of story is based on the story we're going to be looking at, The Gift of the Magi. Let's see if we can get it to work. It needs to load. One of the elements we're going to be talking about is the suspense. There is lots of suspense in this story. It's that tension that readers feel. You know something's going to happen, but you don't know what it is. You're not exactly sure, but you're pretty sure something's going to happen. So then you want to know. It makes you wonder. Foreshadowing is nothing more than giving a hint at what is going to happen. They give you little clues, little, Google likes to call them Easter eggs, little hidden things. Um, Sometimes, if you reread the story, the foreshadowing is clear to you. You're like, oh, now I get why they said this. But in the initial reading, you don't always get that foreshadowing. Irony is a big thing we're going to talk about. In general, there are three forms of irony. There's dramatic irony, which is when you know something that the character doesn't know. You, as the reader, know it. Like, don't go into that barn with the flaming torches and the howling wolves. But they do anyway because they don't know there's flaming torches and howling wolves. Situational irony is the one we're going to be talking about with O. Henry today. And that's when something unexpected happens in a situation. And verbal irony is when somebody says something other than what they mean. So today we're going to focus on the situational irony. Figurative language occurs in most fiction. I would feel safe in saying in some way it occurs in all fiction. And it is that language that communicates different ideas of literal meanings, similes, metaphors, personification, hyperbole, all those things that we've been talking about. Hyperbole is that exaggeration. If you did the Among Us quiz, you know this. The Queen of Sheba and King Solomon would be jealous of Della's hair and Jim's watch. Well, the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon were beyond wealthy and probably would not be jealous of Della's hair or Jim's watch. It is an exaggeration. An idiom is just a figure of speech. Bulldozing someone means to cheat them. He bulldozed me into giving him my favorite baseball card for 50 cents. He didn't really run me over with a bulldozer, but he did force me, although I had to allow it. Personification is giving those human qualities to non human things. Her heart had simply craved and yearned over them. Your heart can't crave or yearn. Your heart is part of your body, but it is not on its own a living, thinking entity. Metaphors compare things, usually unlike things that have some similar quality, but do not use the words like or as. You are renaming something essentially. She is a shooting star. It doesn't mean that she is a giant ball of gas running through the sky. It means that she is highly successful. Similes use like or as. The description of Della's hair as rippling and shining like a cascade of brown waters. Well, okay, let's think about this for a minute. A cascade of water might be really nice, but a cascade of brown water, hmm, I might not have used that simile, but it seems to have worked for O. Henry. And I do believe that is the end of that. So let's move on. Um, I've thought about this, and I'm not going to read the story on this recording. If you want me to read the story, you need to be in class. That's where I will be reading it. You have the text of the story here. So if you go to the landing page, the ELA 8 landing page, and look at today's slide, you will be able to access all of these links. So you can either read the story, or if you choose, you can listen to it. Here's the audio of the story. And then you're going to do this quiz. And this quiz is built into Canvas, so hopefully it will work. This is the first time I've done this, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully it works for you guys. For me, it looks like it tells me to build it, but that's because I'm not in student mode. I do hope that all of you do this. This is a great story. It is definitely worth the read. It's not very long. By definition, short stories should be no more than 20 pages, although some of them are longer. This one is only about 8 or 9. If you do choose to listen to it, you might want to look at the text and follow along as well. You only have one opportunity to do the quiz, so you might want to pay close attention. The quiz is due by Thursday, as is the Learning Farm. Both are due Thursday because grades have to be finalized by Friday. So hopefully you will get this done. For those of you who don't bother to attend class, I wish I could help you more. I would be happy to help you more. All you have to do is show up, participate, ask questions. I'm here for you. But if you choose not to do those things, um, Well, many of you have seen what your grades look like right now. I'm hearing from some of you right now going, what can I do to bring my grade up? Unless you have a time machine, ladies and gentlemen, there's not a lot you can do. If you haven't done anything up until this point in the grading period, there are about 4 days left in the grading period. I don't see how you're going to make up 9 weeks worth of work. And even if you tried, and even if you did, I don't see what value you would get out of it rushing through it. So please start showing up for class. Please start participating and keeping current with your work. You will be a lot happier. If you have any questions, as always, you can email me. I will be happy to respond. Have a lovely day, ladies and gentlemen. T2 out.